Alrighty, so this is definitely for the hate-filled masochists that just really do not like themselves. But we have a three-step sequence bonus practice. There's really only one application for three-step sequences when it comes to the assessment, and we're going to get to that with the next video I'm going to record. But for right now, we'll just get some practice doing three sequences in a row. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm only going to do the first two because after two, that's 6 transformations, and so that's quite a bit. And as you can see, it's page 1 of 7. I think that I have 20 problems, so if you really want to do three-step sequences practices, this is a good way to go. The next video about alternate center bonus practices, that's also a good way to go if you want to do three-step sequences, but I have given too much away with that. But we'll go ahead and we'll get started with this. I'll do these 2 problems and then call it just to kind of demonstrate good practices when it comes to doing three-step transformations. So step 1, translate triangle ABC by the vector 4, -3. So we're moving every single point to the right 4 spaces and then down 3 spaces. So starting with A prime, moving it to the right 4 spaces means that it's going to be 1. And then down 3 spaces, -1. B prime, and I'm looking at the coordinates up here as I go. Moving it to the right 4 spaces means that's going to be 4. And then moving it down 3 spaces puts it at 1. Finally, C prime. 4 and 2 gives me 6. And then -3 and 1 gives me -2. So when people do a lot of the translations, they think in terms of plus and minus, which is perfectly fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But the way that I've started to do it, which cuts down on a lot of my errors and a lot of my mistakes, is I think of it in terms of the direction that the points are moving on the graph. And so if I know that this is +4, I don't think of it as -1 plus 4. What I think of it is, as this is in the -1, as I think that this is I don't think of it as -3 plus 4. I think of it as this is in the -3 position, and I'm moving it to the right 4 spaces. And so to the right 4 spaces means that I'm going -2, -1, 0, 1. And so I'm thinking of it in terms of directions as opposed to signs and additions. And when I think of it in terms of directions, the number of errors that I make substantially drops, especially when it comes to translations. Anytime that you're adding negatives or subtracting positives, there's always going to be an element of error. It doesn't matter what you're doing, which is why mathematicians and scientists try to avoid doing that as much as they can. So anyway, like I said, the best way is practice and trying to find a way to do something visually as opposed to just with pure mathematics. Anyway, we'll go about with this next step, rotate triangle ABC 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. 90 degrees clockwise is for x and y. Transformation is y, -x. So what that means is old x becomes y, new y becomes old -x. So, all right. Let's go with a double prime. X becomes y, so -1. And y becomes -x, -1. I've got b double prime. X becomes y, so 1. And y becomes -x, so -1. -x, -4. See, gotta take your time. Then finally, I've got c double prime. X becomes y, so -2. And y becomes -x, which is -6. All right, finally, we will reflect this triangle, a prime, b prime, c prime, over the line y equals x. So if we're reflecting it about y equals x, that means that the transformation, whatever x and y are, I'm going to check one more time to be 100%. Yep. Whatever x and y are, new coordinates are y and x. So we're just swapping them. We're just, whatever you have, you're just swapping them around. So what that means is we've got a triple prime. Well, all right, -1, -1, B triple prime. This one's going to be a little bit easier. -4, 1. And finally, C triple prime, -6, -2. So that is the third step for the transformation. And again, it's basically just practice at this point. If you try not to think of it as 3 transformations and you just think of it as 1 transformation at a time, there's no reason you can't just blaze through these and do really well with it. This unit is definitely meant to be the unit that gives everyone a good boost going into the next unit, which is probably going to be a little rocky. So next we have P, Q, R, and S. Step 1, we are reflecting it over the y-axis. So that particular transformation is reflecting over the y-axis. X and y, we have x becomes -x, and then y stays the same. Just be 100%. Yep. -x and then y stays the same. All right. So starting with P, Q, R, S, we're going to start with, obviously, P prime. X becomes -x, so 6, and then y stays the same, -2. For Q prime, x becomes -x, so 2, y stays the same. R prime, x becomes -x, so 2, and 1. And then for S prime, x becomes -x, so 6, and then y stays the same, 1. Alrighty. Now we're going to dilate this PQRS with the scale factor of 0.5. So remember again, when we have the scale factor of 0.5, the transformation is going to be, we have xy, and the new x and y are going to be k times x, and then k times y. So if you have a scale factor of 0.5, it means that you're going to take 0.5 and you're going to multiply it to every single number of every single point. And then that's going to be the transformation. So starting with P double prime, I'm just going to do mental math. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this. So it's like we got 3, -1, Q double prime, 1, -1, R double prime, 1, 0.5, and then S double prime, 3, 0.5. Alrighty. Now, the last step, translate the rectangle by vector 2, -1. So I'm moving it to the right 2 spaces and then down 1 space. Alright, well, let's get started. We got P, 3 primes. To the right 2 spaces gives me 5, and then down 1 space gives me -2. Q triple prime. I'm moving it to the right 2 spaces, so 3. And then I'm moving it down 1 space, -2. R triple prime. I'm moving it to the right 2 spaces, so 3. Moving it down 1, so -0.5. And then finally S triple prime. Moving it to the right 2 spaces, gives me 5. And then down 1 space, -0.5. So that is how we're going to do the third transformation. Again, we start out with the points, we verify what the transformation is going to be. Then we just go 1 point at a time, 1 transformation at a time. We verify the transformation, then we go 1 point at a time, 1 transformation at a time. Then we get the translation, 1 point at a time, 1 transformation at a time. I'm not as concerned as far as the class goes with people not being able to do the transformations or the 1-step transformations. What I'm concerned about is folks losing points and not getting either secure or double E because they will rush through because the 1-step transformations are so easy. Again, these are preventable, easy problems to get through, so I sincerely hope that we can moving forward. And yeah, we're just going to keep moving forward, keep moving on.